I am so excited for today's interview. We have Amanda Jeffs with us today. And Amanda is somebody that I met through a dear friend and a collaborator that I work with. And when somebody introduces me to somebody else and taps me on the shoulder and said, "You need to meet this person," my ears perk up and I want to know all about them. But there has also been some other momentum and some curiosity being built. And I will talk about that in a little bit because I was certainly honored when I realized that I would have a chance to interview you, Amanda. So, Amanda, why don't you just tell everybody a little bit about yourself, where you live in the world, and maybe a little bit about your personal life?
Hi, Debbie. So wonderful to connect with you and meet you. And I agree, personal connections of like someone that you're like, you have to meet them and you just have a little spark. And I love that those organic connections. So I live in little old New Zealand down under, where we walk upside down and, we live in huts. No, we live in Tauranga in New Zealand, and I'm a fifth generation New Zealand ever since the pioneers from England came to this country and first settled the land. That's my family, came out on the boat, and we've got a whole book about it. So born and bred Kiwi, but I have a very global mindset. So I grew up on a farm, but then I moved to the city, so I can appreciate both lives. I've done personal development, leadership, mindset, coaching, metaphysics for about 20 years. So I bring a lens of all that with me to all my work and how I operate. And I love operating from a heart, soul level in everything that I do. The business I create that I'm passionate about. So I have spent a long career in building up expertise in marketing and business and strategy and coaching and public speaking. And I bring that all together now, I think, since COVID and sitting in a corporate career. And then we transitioned to working from home and COVID, and then a big redundancy, the big change moment. Then I had my baby and we moved, and all of these things came together, as life does. And then it pushes you and it goes, man, do you need to go and create your own business and do your own thing and be a leader? And so I have been working hard, creating a vision that pulls together all of my passions and skills and learning everything I can about AI and pulling all my expertise together and creating a vision. And out of that comes the idea of my business, Marketworks, and She is AI magazine, and a whole bigger picture behind that about AI and women and leadership and passion and a community to bring all this together. And that vision's still forming. But that's what we're here to talk to today about, the front of that we're launching as the She AI magazine. So that's a very big picture to bring you to where we are today.
Yes. And you can see why I'm grinning ear to ear, because for a long time, women have been told to like stay in one lane and only learn that one thing. And I know that the women that I work with, thought leaders, innovators, visionaries, don't box me in. So you're now taking all of those things and creating this new, or birthing this new thing. And it is called She is AI magazine. And
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear more about it, but I want to know what inspired the creation of this particular magazine.
To dive into it, so over the last couple of years, I really doing some deep thinking, and AI came out as a focus area that was new and huge, and that, between me and my partner, we knew that's something we have to focus on. So I have been doing everything I can to learn everything about AI, you know, post COVID. And yes, it's very new, but I love it. And I think this might be a long answer to a simple question, but I love everything about the AI that this magazine stands for, that it has created new opportunities, new ideas for me to create something that may not have been possible for me before this technology was invented, or before Canva was invented. This has just democratized the ability to create things for everybody who's not a magazine publisher, who's not a publisher, who's not a book writer, who's not a graphic designer, who's everyone that's got a passion, that has now opened the doors to these opportunities. And now I'm sitting working, and I'm working and playing, and I was like, I'm thinking, where's the gap in the market? What's happening? how can I bring this all together and what it looked like? And I'm like, hey, I've run a digital magazine before. Hey, I love publications. Hey, I love bringing people together. Hey, I love AI. I love art. I know a bunch of people that love it too. And then we can bring it together. And I don't know how do you explain you wake up one day and you have an idea. I don't know how to explain that spark that came together, but it just ticks all the boxes of passion. And then I immediately brought it to my community of passionate women who are helping bring this to life, who I have to acknowledge. And then they just step forward and they're like, oh my God, I love it. And within 2 months, we've gone from, hey guys, I'm doing a thing, to, hey, we're publishing a magazine next week. So it's incredible. I don't know how to articulate how a design comes, but what I did when I had the thought was sit down at my computer, and when the creative flow comes, I follow that without resistance, and it just spewed out and came to life. That's the best way to describe it, how it came about. But it was just a culmination of passion and ideas that, yeah.
You have me going in many directions. So I'm going to circle back to your people you're collaborating with, because you really talked that they have also been behind you and helping you with this journey. But I want to talk about, you have been called a magician. Many times I've heard people say that you just have this magical power. And I believe that a magician is somebody that actually creates authentically and with intuition. Like, you fuel this fire of like creativity. Can you help me understand a little bit? Because some people will say that AI is actually just going to automate and do things for you. And yet we're hearing from you and most of the women that are involved is that it's actually ignited a new sense of creativity and being a magician. So help me understand that myth, and then how you've overcome it.
Yeah. That's a wonderful question. You've probably explained it so beautifully yourself. I couldn't say it better. One thing that comes to my mind when you say that, Debbie, intuition and empathy is so important. You have to bring the authenticity through. And my key message when I do AI workshops is you are the human behind a tool. This is a tool, like a graphic designer uses Photoshop. Photoshop doesn't run the graphic designer. You bring your intuition, you bring your authenticity, you bring your ideas. And these are tools in my toolbox to help create my vision. Some of the contributors are writing beautiful articles about how this has just enabled them to allow their creativity to come out of them onto a page and bring their visions to life. If you understand, a painter uses a paintbrush to write on the canvas. The canvas is going to take over the world. It's not, the painter is still in charge. It still has the ideas originate from us, and you have to bring that through. On the other side of the coin, yes, if we do not bring that in to the world of AI, we can become robotic. And there are some people who think in the future, humans are losing empathy and compassion and have the ability to become very robotic. And that is a very real concern at a higher level. So when I'm teaching people, I say it is important to keep that humanity and voice and authenticity. And even I use AI for everything. And I still think, Manda, you still have to run with your intuition and your creative flow. Use whatever word you will for that process. Because if we just run everything through the robot, and lots of people have said, oh, we've got an AI chatbot just talking to our customers using an AI chatbot, and the chatbots are talking to each other and the humans are just sitting there having a cup of tea. I know, so we can't let it run the world, but the key is to create the humans to bookend the AI. Means we start it, we brief it, we review it at the end. We put our humanness in it. We don't copy and paste it. We don't take it as gospel. It's not, don't take it, what it tells us is gospel, and we roll over, and that's the truth. We know now to be discerning. Humanity's learnt social media. We know how to read between the lines. We know how to pick and choose what is real, what we listen to, what we do, what we create. We don't listen to everything we read online. Nor should AI just be our God, because I've written blogs about this before in my metaphysical teaching. If we let our mind be our God and we let AI be our God, then we're nothing. Then a little tool will take over our lives at a real level. So that's part of what I continue to reiterate to people that you've touched on beautifully. That's so important that we keep the humanity in it and keep the authenticity. while using this as a beautiful tool that is going to open up so many possibilities and so many doors that boggles the mind.
Yeah, thank you for that explanation. So, how do you see your magazine contributing to women? Because we've talked a lot about empowerment and women. How do you see this contributing to women stepping into their zone of genius even more? That really empowered state.
So many ways. Give you some examples. One, I love that I'll use the example of some of the content we're seeing coming into issue one already. I'm seeing women echo what we're saying right now, that this is a platform for them to have a voice to, one, showcase what they're creating with AI and to have a voice, two, to be a platform to highlight to more women what is possible and what other women are creating. Example, case in point, in some countries where we're talking to women globally, Thailand, China, US, America, Australia, UK, right? In some countries, those women have networks that they would love access to the amount of information that we have, that you have in the US. This hopes to bridge a global gap and share a message globally to all women and have a singular platform for showcasing the possibilities and passion of women and their work globally. So some women may be inspired by that. Some women may be able to connect with our community through this platform diplomatically in a way that not a woman may have access to these ideas or possibilities or network or information. So we want to bring that to everyone globally is the best way that I can say that I hope that it continues to educate and inspire.
Yeah, wow. So you have taken me back to some of the things I talked about earlier of like that curiosity and that momentum that you've been building. So I believe that your magazine is launching on September 22nd,
Yes, yes.
but you have had a beautiful, amazing campaign that's getting people ready for
Oh yeah.
this.
Oh yeah.
Can you talk to me a little bit about the strategy in which you're using to get noticed worldwide?
Yeah. So many big credits to the team that have created the campaign and the artwork. The art director and the marketing strategist, and I don't know if we'll name them, but they've done the artwork and the incredible campaign that we work together really hard. Everyone's working all hours around the clock passionately to bring this to life. So I love it. So full credit to them. It was just really when you have a team that you work together with no resistance and it just flows and you just bounce off each other and the next minute turns into an amazing thing and it's just out in the world. We love that. So it's come together so beautifully. They've created the artwork. I can't speak to their creative process personally, but they just like me, it just somehow poured out of them. And next minute, we have this woman, we have this character, we have this concept that's poured out, and they just it's just on the page. And I was like, "This beautiful. Got to run with it. Your intuition speaks." It came out. Here she is. Let's run with it. It's beautiful, perfect. And then next minute, we're like, "Okay, we're going to do a teaser campaign." To me, I can't speak for them, but to me, this whole campaign speaks to who is she? What's coming? It's the future. The future is not quite seen. So I wanted it not quite seen. It's kind of teasing. It's kind of coming. It's kind of AI is so new that it's being pieced together like a puzzle as we figure it out. Secondly, I want every woman to identify who is she. She's you. She's me. She's the AI. She's every one of us. She is creativity. She's empowerment. You're passionate. We're all multi-passionate. We're all multi aspects of ourselves, and we want that represented through that woman, that every day she is something else, that we can all see something in her, in ourselves. Does that make sense? So that's a way I explain the campaign creatively so that I'm speaking to everyone, and at the end of each week it's like a little bit of the puzzle comes together, and then in the end she's like, yeah, she's all of us, she's here, this is her, the not the personification, epitome of all of these concepts come together, and this is the woman and that's her and that's the magazine, but that we could all see an aspect of ourselves in that because we're speaking to every woman. Does that make sense?
Oh my goodness, it
Yeah.
so makes sense. It's so
And we just love the creative campaign and that they've done a wonderful job. The team is amazing and they've tagged every city around the world eventually so that we reach, because it's a global, everything is global about our concept, about what we do. So we wanted it to be highlighted in different cities around the world and different copy, and all the women have been sharing it online. It's been so wonderful to get all that early organic traction, even just with everyone sharing it. It's so exciting, but it looks beautiful. We wanted something bold and futuristic. My whole brand brief is like, it's crisp, it's futuristic, it's modern, it's like it's unique and fresh. And that's that's how I explain the whole brand. But yeah, the girls have done a wonderful job pulling that together. I couldn't do it without the whole team hustling in the
Yeah,
background.
they've done an
Amazing.
amazing job. And I'm going to circle back a little bit more to that team and that creation of that team, because I think that's really important. But what I really noticed in this campaign is that all the things that you said, but AI became very human. When we can see ourselves in that future, when we can see ourselves as that person that's traveling around and gathering and connecting and all of those things, it's like, well, she is me. And it spoke loudly, loudly, loudly. So I would love to hear a little bit how you are planning, and you can say, I'm not letting you know, it's a secret, but how are you planning to pull AI and women across different industries together? Because it's, for one thing, if you're already involved in AI, this interests you. But what about people that
Mm.
are just part of a different industry and they see themselves in this type of campaign, but they don't even know what AI is?
Mm. You got me, Debbie. It's such a good question. I I mean, I can speak to how we want to pull different women around the world. And for example, I was speaking to my friends in China. I don't know if this is going to answer your question, but she said there are networks across China of groups of women in each industry. For example, a network for teachers, a network for engineers, a network for lawyers. There's a network for women in every single city. As she said, we can create a community and connect to every one of those networks. It doesn't matter what industry they're in and what they do. We can reach them, and there will be a message in this that applies to them. The bridge being, whether or not they know about AI, it is time to learn and it is time to get on it. And coming back to the education piece, if this ties it in, it is important to educate everyone now to get on AI, because if you don't, you'll be swiftly left behind. And I've heard other people reiterate that message. This is the year to get on it and learn. It's not social media. It's going to take 10 years for us all to pick it up. It's immediately. Now, in a couple of years, people have forecasted that the countries that don't do AI will be left behind, and they'll be scrabbling to catch up with the countries that do capitalize on AI. Not everyone has the ability to freely learn in the way that you do in the US. We want to bring this to everyone, to educate them and have the same opportunities in education and platform that everyone does. And we've got, I got bigger secret plans about education. I'm passionate about educating children on AI as they grow up, and this is going to be part of their lives. As cell phones grew up and social media is part of my life, this is part of their life, and educating them as we go is for everyone. And so we reach them through every mother, wants every child to be educated and supported across the world. And it doesn't matter what country, what industry there are, but AI is going to cross every boundary. It is going to cross every workplace. And even if we're one speck of the dust of the ecosystem of educating people or inspiring them, then that one little speck will do its job in reaching everybody everywhere in the way that we can.
Wow.
Don't know if that answered your question,
It
but
did. It did. And thank you so much for that. You also took me to another point. I think it was in your article on LinkedIn that I read that you quoted that motherhood has really helped you be more creative. And I know that most of us, if we're heading down a road or a path in a career or in a job or whatever, once we become a mother, things shift. And I feel like you've had a couple shifts. You've had the shift of motherhood and the shift of COVID, which changed everyone around the world. And so, how can you help us understand where you were before that and where you are now, and how much you've grown through that process?
oh wow, yeah, that's a really good point. Uh, Look, you probably speak to stunning people who have never been anything less than amazing. So I'd hate to admit that I've ever been been a fumbling, naive human in my past. Look, someone said to me, "You're in a gilded cage in a comfy corporate career that's very safe," and I had no stress And you come from that environment, but at some point I've heard so many women say something happens and you have to shift and speak out. And now I'm in a realm of so many wonderful coaches and heart-centered people that are just coming out and flourishing, and it's the time to do that. And there's only so long that I can sit there and hold myself back or be shy or hold in the cupboard. I likened myself at one point, I was hiding in the cupboard. A little Roomba comes out and do the work, and the little Roomba goes back in the cupboard. But so to come from there, to be someone, to have a vision as big as, name the biggest entrepreneurs in the world who want to inspire people, name your favorite person. That, I don't know how to describe that shift. One, COVID did push us into many places. Here's one point: my partner and I were doing business before COVID, and then it pretty much all shut down. Everyone went home. We said, everyone's like, the boardroom's shut, we're not doing anything, everyone go home. So we came home. Secondly, got a redundancy, and then had another job, and then had another redundancy, and COVID hit New Zealand hard, and it's still hitting it very hard. And then motherhood, and everyone will have their own way of describing this, but for me, it's like you have such an internal drive and passion to create something that is create a future for someone else, and maybe something in your maternal instinct kicks in, and you just have this amazing innovative ability to run on 5 hours sleep and create. I'm creating 3 businesses at the same time, plus my partner's business. So, and where before I needed 12 hours sleep, otherwise I couldn't function, and I only worked 8 hours a day. But now you have an insane ability and capacity to create from a passionate place with someone's future that you're responsible for, I guess. And yeah, just having to create something bigger than yourself. And it's no longer good enough just to sit in a chair at a desk all day and come home and sit there
Yeah.
and think that's enough. I had a conversation with a very good friend long ago, and we said that there's more than the come home, the commute, and the sit and watch TV and then go back to work the next day, and that's all you do. And we know there's more than that. And yeah, I'm rambling. It is an incredible journey, and everyone will have their own way that they go through that journey, and I don't know how better to describe it, but here I am, this I have to step up, I have to stop hiding, I have to back myself, strap on your big girl pants, strap on you have to be solid, you have to step up, you have to do it. There's no flopping around, there's no being half-assed. You go all in or you go home. That's the point I wanted to make. My partner and I, pretty much when you burn the boats, you have nothing left, or your business is stopped. You have no backup, you have nothing else, we have no support system, nothing behind it. We're like, you make it or we're on the street. You make this business happen, so to speak, or we're out. There's nothing else. You burn the boats and you go all in. And so all the best entrepreneurs they go all in. We're not half-assing this. This is my business, this is my passion. We are creating this, we're creating a future. And if you are out there and you're thinking about it, yes, you can side hustle, but at some point you go all in and you are a business leader, and you're either doing it or you're not. You're not just half-assing it, thinking about it. Oh, I did some social media content today. Actually create traction and actually do what pulls the levers on your business to make things happen. That is important. And I know that is important. And there's no time, I don't get time to muck around. No self-care, no TV time, no sit down. I haven't sat down in 2 years pretty much. There's nothing. You just focus on your family and your future, and that becomes more important.
Wow. You're definitely speaking to my heart and why I do what I do. It is for legacy. We will work harder for somebody else than ourselves normally. And so it's kind of easy to sit status quo until, like, for me, it was my grandchildren. It's like, I want to create a world where they know they have choice. I'm from a town in Canada. You said US a couple times, but I'm actually in Canada. And we're in a town of 110 people. There is not a lot of choice here. I have had to create a global community through necessity, but also because I want more for my grandchildren than I even have for myself. And this is why I get to interview people like you all the time, because you're way showers. You're showing people the possibilities. And I love that. So let's circle back to what is your suggestion for women that are looking to take a skill set. They're taking to really leverage what's happening in this world right now. And instead of reacting to it as if it's a bad thing, to turn it around and go, how can I use this for myself? And like I looking at you and going, you have more time right now, you have more energy and life force energy now than you did before. So how can other women find that? But channeling what they do, the skill set they need. What is your suggestion?
Great question. Oh, can I just start and answer that in multiple parts?
Absolutely.
One, I can only speak to the way that I've approached this. One, I went through a process of looking at all of my skills and capabilities and measuring them all at a score against 50. And I did this big whole complicated process and cross-referencing those scores from passion to skill to what is a monetizable skill. And then when you get a green light in all three of those categories, if you have a skill that is monetizable, you're passionate about it, and you're skilled in it, green light, utilize that one. Yeah. And whatever way you want to visualize that, triangle, columns, Excel table. I did a big whole column Excel table. I ran the whole thing through ChatGPT. Just start using ChatGPT every day for everything, guys, everything. Recipes, calculating, talking through ideas. It's your everything. And it can help break down, calculate numbers, cross-reference things, write you a list. It can analyze your whole resume, feed it your whole background, feed it your passions, feed it your journal, and then tell it, hey, help me craft an offer out of all of this. Or start with like, here's my top, I listed, I don't know, 50 skills. I got it down to top 20, and then I got down to top 10, and then I honed and honed and honed. This took me too long process before I thought about monetizing everything. Sidetrack, monetize before you're ready. Don't wait till you build a website. Don't wait till you've branded yourself and spent 3 months getting validation from people. The amazing coach in the US just said, look, just get out there, create something for someone, get something for it, get some early validation and some feedback, make one picture for someone, get back, get it, get some money for it, and then keep going. You can run on an Instagram account and show it, like a one-page website or a link in bio. I spent 3 months making a website and it was too complicated. So I went back and made another website. That was way better. It only took me a week. And then before I'd done anything, don't be afraid to go to market before you're ready. Don't spend 3 months thinking about it and branding yourself, but do the work to really create a core offer. That's what I did. I said, how can I pull all of this together to create one core offer that's amazing, that can scale and create a value ladder out of it, that can grow, and I can reach people at all levels in all different ways. I guess is I'm really paraphrasing my whole process that took me months, and think about what that looks like. And so it came out that that's where Marketworks came from. I was like, this is a business that has all my passions, all my skills combined, and here's all my offers that I can do. And then, yes, I use ChatGPT to help refine those offers and help me picture the value ladder. And I laid it out on, Lucid Chart, and I laid out my value ladder and all the levels and all my offers and the price point and the whole funnel and everything. And it's all beautifully mapped out. Lovely. No one can see it. Don't know if that's valuable, but to answer your question, how do they start and how do they do it? Just think about using your skills, get out there. Don't be afraid. If you've got 2 hours every evening, stop watching Netflix and do a business. I've watched like 1 hour of TV a week, max. There's no excuses. I have a great coach, and she says there is time that you're probably wasting that you can get back, that if you are serious about focusing on creating something, you could get back. You can delegate the lawn mowing. You can give up TV. You can get someone to cook your meals. Well, maybe not all of us have the ability to have someone to cook and clean for us, right? But you can delegate that. You can pay for that. You can choose what you want to focus on. You can work while you're getting your hair done. Think about how to maximize your time as a 6-figure business leader and think like that. She said to me, it's easier to 10x your efficiency in your time than it is to just 2x it. Everyone can 2x their time a little bit more efficient. But if you're serious, start doing something, using your skills. Don't look back. Stop mucking around. Focus, create something. And I don't know, if they don't know about AI, educate yourself. I've spent a year educating myself for like 12 hours a day for a year. Get on it. I've done like So many courses. I speak to everyone. I read everything. I
Yep.
teach myself. Don't be afraid. There's a point. If you want to do something, get your passions together and do it. If you want to be a dog walker, bloody get out there in your community and be a dog walker. I'm not saying you have to do AI. I'm saying do something that you're passionate about and makes a difference. If you want to be Debbie, make a community, make a fucking community. Get out there. And Debbie is probably, I'm speaking for you, you do something that gets you in front of people, that moves the lever. You got out there in a little community. It's probably not a great networking events or conferences happening there, but you got out there obviously globally and you made something impactful. So yes, technology has enabled us to remove all excuses and to create something immediately. You can launch a website in one day. There's AI that can spit out a PowerPoint in 30 seconds for you now. I created 9 PowerPoints last week. I created a new brand for my friend's company in 2 days. I created a whole 7 ebooks. I've created like 9 new courses, a new community, whole book, a whole teaching. We get a whole magazine in 2 months. There are no excuses. I know another coach, she works hardcore. She's got multiple businesses running. Just get started. I don't know if that answers your question, but just do something. Just get out there. If you're already out there, think about 10xing your time as
Yep.
someone that goes to the next level. Yeah, stop mucking around, ladies.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do it. I love it. I love that advice. I love your passion because there isn't any excuses anymore. It used to cost a lot of money to get set up to do the things that we can do now very quickly and very cheaply. So let's take our that thing that used to hold us back and now leverage it to get out and actually create. So if there's something in your life or your business that isn't actually moving the needle, put it to the side for a while and jump in and learn more about AI. I know that it's moving people's businesses forward really quickly. So I know we're running out of time. So I want to take us back to personally. This She Is AI magazine feels very personal to me. So a magazine, and it's brought out creativity and it's brought you new connections and collaborations, but it's still paper or digital, whichever. How is this, like, how do you want your audience to take away a personal piece of the people that have created this? Does that make sense? How are you feeding yourself and your readers and your contributors as a personal story back to the people that are reading this article? What is the takeaway you want for them?
So that's what I want them to take out of it.
When they
What
read
would
that
like them to take
magazine, how
home?
did they, yes, what do you want the outcome of this magazine? It teaches them something, it helps them with hope. Like, what's that thing that you created and you now want them to have an outcome from it?
It's a great question. The first and foremost, be inspired by women who are pushing the boat out in this space. We want to stun you. The first thing I said is they're going to open this and we're going to wipe the floor with your jaw. We want you to open it and go, oh my God, these women are passionate. They're creative. They love what they do. These guys are fucking amazing. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get emotional. I want you to open it and go, holy wow. I want you to be inspired. I want every woman to go, fuck the dog walking business. I'm going into AI. I want you to be able to read the words that these women have written on the page that are beautifully written to go, wow, take that away and put some of that passion in your own life. One is a message that I say because I'm passionate about it. Every woman seems to have some aspect of self-doubt or lack of self-confidence. Even myself, and every woman in this magazine is incredible. But so many of them have even gone, oh, I don't know, am I good enough? Can I write this? Is my art good enough? I'm like, you're incredible. Every woman should absolutely back themselves. And some of the most creative women I know are still questioning themselves. I was like, your art's the best shit I've seen. If I can give every woman that, I don't know what you call that little bit of belief that they can see their work in something that is a groundbreaking global publication that they can showcase their work in, that see that for themselves, but also let other women around the world go, oh my God, that could be me, or oh, I could go and create AI art. Look at this, is just a woman that had her life and her life turned around and some shit's happened and now she's got into AI, she's found her passion. I can do that too. I don't know, whatever they take out of it, hope, inspiration. And in my colleague in China, she's like, every woman will want to do that. They all want to get educated about AI and create something for themselves. She said something about women all want to be empowered. If they have a culture of where that's not always the case, it is in America, they want to feel a sense of being educated and empowered in a way that they can use this platform to create something, write something, make a picture, help their kids. I've seen kids now create AI artwork and then go and print it out themselves, make a poster on their wall and frame it. All things to AI. I'm like, there is every possibility now. I keep saying we've democratized the ability to put your passions and put it on paper or bring it into real life. And so if that's all it does, let alone educating and inspiring, if it just lets one person go, wow, oh my God, it's amazing, I love it, or feel a little bit inspired, or change your whole career because you realize how cool and easy AI is, then go for it. I don't know. Every woman's going to have their own takeaway.
Yeah, so beautiful. So beautiful. I am going to leave it at that. Amanda, thank you for your time. I appreciate you more than you can ever know and bringing hope and inspiration to the world. Thank you for doing that, Pete.
Wow, thank you, TB. That's amazing.